We're the Higgins, and this is the future home of Higgins events at Northfield Plantation. When I was a little girl, we spent our summers in England, and I always loved touring the countryside, seeing the castles, and it was just outside of the city. And I always loved being able to go visit, and we stayed in bed and breakfast, and we'd go to weddings. And I knew that one day I wanted to own a beautiful piece of property that would have that kind of bed and breakfast venue, that I could share the peace and quiet of living in the country with other people so they could get away from the hustle and bustle of life. It's in Cumberland, Virginia, and it is amazing. It is just the perfect place to have any event. I was on my way back from working and getting ready to go to plan another wedding, and literally stopped the car when I came up to this property because it was just, there was something about it that drew me. And I stopped the car in the middle of the road and looked around to make sure I wasn't blocking traffic, and pulled up to the driveway, and it looked empty. But there was a sign on the gate that said Northfield Plantation. It was actually owned and run by a ministry called Northfield Ministries, and I just loved what they were doing. I prayed right there in that spot, and I just said, Lord, if you have plans for this property, please make me a part of it, because it was just that amazing. When we went to go look at the property, we realized that it was so far out of our price range that there was almost impossible chances of us being able to get the property. I let it go, but I went back just to really get a sense of if that was really where God was calling us to be. It was crazy because I asked God to speak to me, and I asked Him to send His Holy Spirit there, and I was amazed. Later on, I walked over to the cross, got down on my knees, and just thought, you know, this is a place that I'm going to surrender this desire to have this land to Him, and just ask Him, you know, God, what do you want me to do with this property? And it was another pivotal moment in my life when I felt God say to me, Heather, I'm going to give you this land. I want you to till the soil and use it for my glory. Just trust me. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, Lord, this is the biggest dream I've ever had, but I know that I can do this with your help. And I just gave it to the Lord. There are so many things, it's endless. I want to be able to have community events here with the county. I would love to have weddings, events, family reunions, church retreats, pastoral sabbatical times, youth camps, gosh, the graduations, the list just goes on. Jeremiah 29:11 has been a life verse for not only me, but my husband as well. And before we even really reconnected, both of us had that verse spoken over us. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And those things to me when I was younger, I thought were gone. Coming back to God's plan for my life, I know He's got a plan for us, and somehow, some way, it's connected with this land. I ask that if you feel led to pledge any amount, anything that you give is actually going to have something come back to you in return from us. Whether that be event time or coming to our black tie open house, there's so many different things that we have specifically put together to be able to give back to the people that give to us, so you're getting something for your donation to this funding project. But we definitely can't do this without the funders that are going to be a part of this. I want to just say thank you to everybody that's been a part of it, everybody that's already given their heart and given what they felt led to give. It's made such a huge difference and impact in what we're doing already, and it's going to help bring this land back to life. And what Northfield Ministries started, I want to continue with God's will and making this property shine for God's glory, so that anybody that comes on that land can feel that same experience that I had, that they go there and they don't want to leave because they feel the warmth and the love and the welcome